Hi gang! Today I thought I'd lore dump on a bunch of you because I thought it'd be funny. This may be a shorter video depending on how long I actually end up talking for, but I thought I'd clarify a few things that I've been posting through the shorts, mainly about the hallucination and the character Alan. This is all my creation, my own ideas, my own characters, so this is not from a game or anything, but brace yourself for a lore dump because there's going to be not a ton of information, but there's going to be information. Let's start with the beginning. The hallucination first appeared in 2024 of the timeline my show takes place and is a manifestation of Alan's guilty conscience formed into a human that only he can see. The hallucination doesn't start off the way that it looks in the shorts that I've posted. It actually starts off looking a lot more like another character, Ryan, because the hallucination is a different version of Ryan, who Alan was involved in an accident with and was under the belief that Ryan had died in that accident, but in reality he actually hadn't. So Alan harbors this guilt about what happened in the accident, and it manifested into a version of Ryan who was involved in the accident. It's also important to note that Alan is not a good person for the mass majority of the show. He's actually a pretty bad person. Like he's very egotistical, very full of himself, believes that he can only be the victim in the scenario, which impacts the hallucination quite a lot, because when he does begin to have a character arc and growth where he realizes maybe I'm not the victim here and maybe that I was just being stupid, the hallucination begins to change for the worst, which is what it ends up looking like in the shorts I've posted. It ends up looking a lot scarier and a lot freakier because it's changed into the worst version of itself, because the more Alan changes, the more his internal monologue and his guilty conscience and everything begins trying to fight to turn him back into what he was, because part of him still wants to believe he's always in the right. And the hallucination becomes that manifestation and becomes a horrific, monster that haunts Alan for the mass majority of the rest of the show. But since Alan is the only person who can actually see the hallucination, it results in Alan having to fight quite literally a manifestation of his internal demons alone, because nobody else can see or really help him fight what he's going through, because nobody can understand or see what the hallucination is. Hallucination was honestly just like a whim, like a randomly created character, because Alan felt really boring in the first few run-throughs of my show, and creating him to be more dynamic by having this internal and physical manifestation of what is quite literally a demon felt a lot cooler than just having him be this random annoying character who randomly got a character arc. I felt like transitioning into it better with the hallucination would help make him less irritating and less punchable, although he is incredibly punchable. I felt like it made him more dynamic compared to everyone else, because I will admit I've given the least amount of attention to Alan out of anyone else in the show. But thanks for listening to this incredibly random rant about my creations, because I've kind of been wanting to talk about them. That's kind of the reason I made this entire channel. But again, this was just me randomly dumping on you guys for no given reason. I hope you enjoyed, and if you guys want other lore on other characters, do let me know. Again, I also wanted to apologize for that random short I posted about the sleep paralysis. No idea what was going on there, and I still haven't figured it out. Anyway, ta-ta, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and toodles!